Having a bad day? Well, it's time to bounce back with variety music and resilient jazz. We are the Bounce Back Station, only on Resilient Radio Stream. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Resilient Jazz.
Right there. Matthew Bracey in the building. Tell them your name, where you from, school, and da-da-da-da.
Matthew Bracey, Randolph Career Technical Center.
Let's go.
You're locked in to the Variety Music Show with your host, me, Resilient J, right here on the Resilient Radio Stream, where the music melting pot comes to life. And this Friday, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., we're going to take a moment to shine a well-deserved spotlight on an incredible educator making a powerful impact in our community. The Resilient Radio Stream, the Variety Music Show, and Randolph Career Technical Center is proud to congratulate Matthew Bracey, the first ever recipient of the Carhartt Steel Apple Award. Shout out to Carhartt for this award. Now, this prestigious honor is awarded to educators who go above and beyond
to motivate and inspire their students.
7 News Detroit reporter Megan Daniels caught up with one of these teachers at the Randolph Career and Technical Center in Detroit, helping young men and women build a brighter future brick by brick.
And Mr. Bracey is the blueprint for that. For over 25 years, he served as Randolph Career Technical Center's Masonry instructor, and he helped shape the futures of countless students through hands-on training, industry insight, and real mentorship. So thanks to his leadership, young Masons are entering the workforce with confidence, skill, and purpose.
Carhartt choosing Mr. Bracey as one of only 5 educators in the nation to be recognized for the way he's impacted his students' lives.
So we salute you, Mr. Bracey, for your dedication, excellence, and lifelong impact on both your students and the masonry industry.
I looked up, people just started coming in every door, clapping and things like that. And I was trying to figure out, what is all this? And they said I was nominated for Teacher of the Year.
So we'll welcome him this Friday at 6 p.m. only on the Resilient Radio Stream, the Variety Music Show. We'll see you there. All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Resilient J checking back in at the top of the hour. You're listening to the Variety Music Show on the Resilient Radio Stream. And remember, we do this every Friday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm here in the studio. I got with me live my guy, Matt Bracey. Say what up, Matt.
What up? What up, Detroit?
Well, there it is. So if you guys have been following us on our social media, and if that's what you do, the Resilient Radio Stream on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, then you would have known already that today at 6 o'clock we would have Mr. Matt Bracey here. Now, let me make sure that I give you the proper introduction. Right, let me see what I can do off the top of my head. But I'm not even going to look at a sheet or anything. Just from 25 years teaching at Randolph Career Technical Center, responsible for so many masonries coming into the industry, so many students coming into this trade that's definitely needed, obviously. And so recently this year, Carhartt has awarded him with the Apple Award. The pleasure is mine. Glad you came on to the show. Welcome, my brother.
Appreciate it.
All right, so I got to come right in. So before, when I got on today, I kept telling everybody that I was going to ask, how in the hell you been dealing with kids for 25 years? Because I can't get my kids to eat their vegetables. So I need to know what the secret is to dealing with kids in general and just dealing with the different attitudes and makeups of those kids for so many decades. That's 25 years is like, that's 2.5 generations of kids. So tell us what the secret is.
Well, the secret is I'm a Whitney Houston fan, and Whitney Houston said, I believe that children are the future. So I like the future to be bright. I don't want kids coming to me at the gas station that I done taught and ask me to come pump my gas. I want the kids to own the gas station.
There it is.
So that's where I put it at. I start from humble beginnings, and now I want kids to do everything I did. My kids at home too. I want everybody to be successful in this world, and that's what I'm pushing for, success.
Gotcha. That is what's up. So tell us about Randolph Career Technical School for those folks, because we have a global audience. So we have folks listening in the UK and Nigeria, Australia, whatever. Tell everyone about Randolph Career Technical Center.
So Randolph Career Tech Center is a Detroit public school. It was built in 1981. And the good part about Randolph is I played hide and go seek in that school when they were building it, because I lived right across the street growing up.
Wow.
My brother was a original Randolph alumni, taking radio and VHS repair. Now you know how long ago that was. Wow. Radio and VHS repair, that's the class he took at Randolph Career Tech Center. So we became a Randolph family and a Career Tech family. So that's where the beginnings came from, just playing in the yards of when they were building the building.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, I'm a native Detroiter as well, but I'll be honest, I didn't know about the changes that they did inside Randolph until I came in there a couple years or so ago, and I felt kind of bad, because I just felt like one of the major issues was that people don't know that it's there.
Well, you went to Cass Tech.
Yeah.
So we on the campus of you got Cass Tech, and we on the campus of Renaissance. For some reason, they don't want the kids to go to Randolph Career Tech Center. And what they fail to understand is, if I got a kid at Renaissance that wants to be an engineer, what better class to take as an energy class at Randolph Career Tech Center?
That's true.
It's going to give you more in that classroom than anything Cass Tech or Renaissance could give you right there in the classroom. Yeah. So yeah, we push college too,
right?
But we also push the trades. And every trade you enter into, there is college. Right. I tell kids all the time, you're never going to escape schooling.
Right.
Every job you take, you're going to learn something. Mm-hmm. Why not get paid while you're learning?
That's true. So, and you know, I think you touched on a good point, because we're always taught go to college, but college isn't for everyone, right? So how important is it, do you think, for kids that's in that age of 16, 17, 18 to just explore different options outside Harvard and HBCUs?
You got to explore it, because this is what I did as a kid. If you're sitting in a building and you're looking at, you're wondering how that building was constructed. Mm-hmm. You don't construct a building out of a book. You have to get your hands down and dirty to construct a building. So there's a lot of education in constructing a building, because you don't want the building to fall.
Right. Everything
connected to a building, the electricity, the gas, the bricks, the blocks, the cement, that takes education to build a structure like that. So you're not really escaping college or schooling. You're just going in a different avenue to become something that you can take with you all over the world for the rest of your life.
Good. Now, you're a Mason as well, right?
Yes, I'm a journeyman bricklayer of 34 years, class of 1991.
Average kids coming out of the trade school now, because I think that's important for the kids as well. I always say, if you want to get more kids into the trades, you need to make content that reaches the kids. All you need to do is show Maybach pulling up and the guy stepping out with some J's on and changing into his Mason gear or his line worker gear and going at hey, you thought I played ball? No, I'm a Mason. I throw these bricks or something like that. So what's the average salary that you would say if someone was in a Mason trade? What could they do coming out? What kind of numbers are they talking about?
So when I graduated high school, minimum wage was $3.25 an hour.
Bang!
And one of my favorite songs I used to listen to was LL Cool J, and LL Cool J said, "I'm only 18 making more than your pop." When I graduated from high school, my first paycheck was $12.37 an hour. Minimum wage was $3.25. Now you want to fast forward it, I ain't gonna say how many years later, a lot of years later, and my kids, got a kid called me the other day, he didn't know what a credit union was.
What?
But he's bringing home $1,300 a week as an apprentice bricklayer.
Wow. 18
years old. So if you put that in a category of hourly pay, with his benefit package, he's around $48 an hour.
Wow.
That's coming out of high school. 18 years old.
18. Now, and I know a lot of 40, 50-year-olds that ain't making that.
Yes.
You know? What's the labor? Well, because it's so labor intensive, you know, does that industry particularly prefer younger kids, or, you know, what would you say is the oldest you could be to be a Mason with the kids?
Well, that's a good question. Masons don't get old.
Okay.
Guess what? The best bricklayers are 72, 73 years old.
What?
Those guys don't even have to look at the wall while they building it. So I tell the kids all the time, you know, they'll come back, oh, Mr. Bracey, I can outlay you. I can lay more brick than you. Never. I'm a Jedi. I'm a Jedi bricklayer. So I can lay bricks without even looking at them, and they're going to be level, straight, and plumb. And it take years for that kind of what's saying. So this is a trade that you get better the older you get. You get wiser, wisdom. That's what this trade is. This trade takes up wisdom. And all the trades take up wisdom.
Yeah.
You know, all the new technology today, that's some of the stuff we have to keep up with. But actual foundation stuff, you would never be the older construction worker. Never. Nah. If I was going to be a crane operator, yes, they want good eyes. So they want you 19 to 27 years old, because that's when your eyes are the best and best focus. They don't want these old eyes up there trying to ride no crane. Because I have to have some thick glasses
It's
on.
labor intensive though, right?
Yes.
You know, because you carry them bricks, so you got to be in some kind of good shape there.
Listen, my hair is long, it's beautiful, and I go out there and work. I just got finished working.
Okay.
And a lot of times I work with the kids, they can't believe I work circles around them. Because I've been doing it so long, my body is already ready to work. When I know my body is not ready to work anymore, then I stop.
There it is. So how important is it for the industry to support schools like Randolph? Because one of the great things that you do is that you've made connections where you're providing employment opportunities for the kids as well. So how important is it for the industry in itself to make sure that they come back and support trade schools and provide opportunities for the kids while they're still young?
Because Randolph would be for minorities, Randolph would be the #1 school for minorities coming out in construction. It would be the feeder school for any minority kid, inner city kid, that, you know, you get a lot of generational construction workers where the father did it, the grandfather did it. You don't get that coming out of Detroit.
Wow.
I was a first-time bricklayer in my family. I didn't know what bricks was. I went home and said, what's bricklaying? I said, what's masonry? And my dad said, bricklaying. I said, oh, shoot, I could do that. That's like Legos. And, you know, I haven't missed a paycheck. In 34 years, I've been getting a paycheck I wish it was every week, but every 2 weeks for the last 30-something years. So, yes, biggest thing is minorities. And companies are starting to have a certain amount of minorities working for them to even get city contracts. So, it's all starting to go hand in hand. So, yes.
Now, how many challenges is there with dealing with the underserved kids and the underprivileged? Because a lot of them may be coming to school with social issues as well. So
yes.
How do you balance the demand of what you need with actually what's kind of taking place at home? Because for a lot of the kids, you may be the only father or male figure that they have in their life. So how do you balance that?
I'm the father in the classroom, I'm the brother in the classroom, I'm the cousin, I'm the teacher, I'm the godfather, I'm everything in the classroom. But that's how it is. And, you know, you might have a single parent household. I got kids, foster kids. I got kids that have raised by their grandparents. I got kids with no parents. I got kids that was blind. I got kids that's deaf.
Wow.
So we done had a full circle of almost any kind of kid you can have. And if you could teach a kid bricklaying who's 80% blind, imagine that. So,
Wow.
And like I tell the ladies, when the girls come in the classroom, they say, isn't this for boys? I said, no, everybody in here is bricklayers. Ain't no such thing as a girl bricklayer. Ain't no such thing as a boy bricklayer. Wow. Everything is bricklayer. And I done had girls win contests because girls take attention to detail. So a girl can be a better bricklayer than a boy. So, you know, none of that matters. It all matters about the foundation you have at home. And if you don't have a foundation at home, I give you a foundation when you come and get in our classes. I make
but
you
that's a skill set too with
yes.
With playing those many hats. So how do you assess the kids individually when you come? Do you wait to see how they react to what you do, or how do you assess how you need to, when you need to lay a hammer and when you need to give them a hug?
Well, every year it's a different. So like this year it was don't judge a book by its cover, because I got bid on it last year. The kids I thought were great ended up nothing, and the kids I thought were nothing ended up great. So you have to kind of play it by ear. You got to kind of play it by ear, and by, you know, you would know by about February if the kid is, if this is something he really wants to do. And that's all right if it's something he don't want to do. He'll know if somebody cheating him when they come to his house. So I had 4 engineer kids last year. 4 kids that went into engineering, got the Detroit Promise and went into engineering. Bricklaying can always be a fallback if they wanted it to. But we got them the scholarships, we pushed them through, and I'm hoping they be successful and, you know, and bring me lunch sometime, you know. But that's what we do. We don't never shy away from college and things like that. Right. We push a kid into his best direction. Yeah. And that's all we can do. And hopefully it's a positive direction. You know, we don't push them into no negative direction. So yeah, so when I have to be stern, they know when Mr. Stern is in the room. Right. But most of the time, we have a real good class because I say work hard, play hard. So what did I do? I put PlayStation in the classroom. What? You know? So if everybody finished, cleaned up and everything, I'm cheating. I put a basketball hoop in the classroom.
I did see that in one of the classrooms too.
Yep. And the kids, nobody can play until everybody is done. So that gives them camaraderie to where they make sure everybody's done, make sure everything's cleaned up. Last 15 minutes of class, you should see them. Wow.
Okay, now I know you guys have, there's some competitions coming up as well, right?
Yeah.
With the school. So tell everybody about those competitions as well.
So we just returned back last weekend from Skills USA. So Skills USA is a national competition for all the high schools in Michigan and throughout the country that compete in all these skills: masonry, carpentry, plumbing, HVAC. They compete in, you know, cooking, hair, nails, whatever. Whatever you took in high school in a career tech building, they all come together in Grand Rapids and they compete for gold, silver, and bronze. If you win gold, you go to Atlanta for the nationals. You win nationals, you go to Japan for the internationals. So we've been 3 times out of the last 13 years, and we got 14 medals just in the masonry class. Great thing about this year is we had an HVAC class that swept first, second, and third. So they got gold, silver, and bronze. Wow. And they'll be going to Atlanta, Georgia in June to compete for HVAC. So
wow, is this school funded or is it sponsored by
school funded? Okay. You know, these kids can't pay for this stuff. You know, you can't go stay at the Omni in Atlanta and pay for it. But I'm over that. I'm the lead advisor at Randolph Career Tech Center. So we make sure all the kids get a chance to just experience something outside of Detroit.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's it. If you guys are just tuning in to the Resilient Radio stream, we have Matthew Bracey on the line, a construction trades masonry over at Randolph Career Tech for 25 years. He was just recently awarded the Carhartt Apple Steel Award. So he's here in the studio with us. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break, continue listening to these songs, and we'll be back in a little bit. This is Resilient J. Stay tuned. Matt is in the studio, and Matt is a trades instructor at the Randolph Career Tech Center here in the city of Detroit. It's a trade school that's spitting out some of the brightest kids in the trades industry here in our city and in the world. And he was just awarded the Carhartt Steel Apple Award, one of 5 recipients across the nation. So I got him here in the studio with me, and we're just he's sharing some information with us about Randolph trades, kids, masonry, just whatever you can think of. He's in here sharing that information with us. So in the past set, I was just asking him to explain to me about how he's dealing with the kids over 2.5 decades of all types of kids coming in from, now that's Gen X, that's millennials, that's Gen Z. He's touched them. So
Geritol.
all of the above. So now, if I'm a parent and I'm listening to you now, how would I get my kid into Randolph?
So if you're a parent and your kid is about 8th grade, I would start bringing them around the school to show them, we have tours. Anytime the kids come to the school, we have tours. They would come into the school and see Mrs. Allen, or they would just come to see Mr. Davis or Miss Jackson, and they give them a tour of the school, and that's 8th grade. We don't really take kids until 10th grade. So we try to target all the 9th graders out of high school. We really want the 9th graders to come in. So usually right around about now, April, we start getting schools come to Randolph on tour. Then we have an open house. We have, in the summertime, we have another open house where it's open to the public for anybody to walk through. If you're a homeschool kid, you can come to Randolph. If you're Hamtramck public school.
Oh, so you don't have to just be DPSCD, really?
Yes, I got Hamtramck students too.
Oh, wow, okay.
So you got Hamtramck students. We have, homeschool. We have, and DPS students for right now. And then, never know, in the future, we might get more kids coming in there across if they don't have a career tech in their own neighborhood.
Wow. So now tell everybody about the Carhartt Award that you won. How did you find out you won, or what was that day like? I saw some footage online. If you guys want to see it as well, just look up the Carhartt Steel Apple Award. And so how did you find out about all of that?
Didn't know at all. They came to the school. These people came to school and said they wanted to interview me for something with Skills USA or something, they said. And I'm just standing there, and 50 people coming there clapping and this and that. But the principal told me to make sure I'm there, and he told me it was something, but he didn't realize how big it was going to be. We just thought it was a little award, maybe from your local. We didn't know it was a national award. None of us knew it was national.
Right.
And to be picked nationally from across the nation to be the top finalist out of 4 other finalists across the nation was it was I won't say it was well deserved, but I think it was well deserved from being in there so long. People always ask me, how do you do it?
Yeah, how'd you get nominated? You know who nominated you, or?
Don't know who nominated me, but I got an inkling who nominated. There's nobody in the building with me to nominate. It was somebody national that nominated me. And I almost think it's the lady that I fussed with, a couple of months before that on a Zoom call. So she must have seen my passion and was like, oh man, he'd be perfect for this. So.
Wow.
I still don't know who did it, but
right.
I appreciate it,
Right. So you found out what was that day like when they came in and
Oh my God. They came in, they gave all the kids gifts. They gave
Shout out to Carhartt, man.
Yeah, shout out to Carhartt, definitely. They gave all the kids gifts and backpacks full of Carhartt gear. Ooh. They gave me gift cards and gear full of Carhartt gear. They gave the classroom $10,000. And they proceeded to put a roof on Randolph Career Tech Center. Whoa. So, shout out to Carhartt. Carhartt did a lot, just in that one day. And next thing you know, here come now, I love where I'm at. And you better believe I'm humbled by people asking me to do this, but it's been Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, Michigan Chronicle, Bridge Detroit. Wow. Now I'm on this great Resilient Radio. Then I gotta go to the National Black Women's in Construction. Been invited to their they having a what they call a luncheon.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got it. I mean, first, but I think why you're being celebrated, you're giving your flowers now is because the contribution that you're not only giving to the youth, but the longevity in doing it. Most of us, when we think of dealing with the kids, hell to the no.
I know that's right, but I got.
So you got to honor that when, not only are you doing it, you spitting out tradesmen as well. So that's, come on.
And I come from a family of teachers. My mother was a teacher at Detroit Public Schools for 45 years. My brother retiring this year, George Bracey. Shout out, George Bracey.
Okay.
George Bracey retiring this year at Cody High School. Teach calculus at Cody High School. So this is that. We were supposed to go out together, but, I can't do the Jerome Bettis and go out at the top. So I guess I gotta wait a couple of years.
But hey, even this is kind of the top now. You getting your flowers, man.
Yeah,
25, 30. How many years? 30.
So 35 years as a bricklayer. 30 since 1991 Detroit Public Schools. So was that 34 years at Detroit Public Schools.
Wow. So you were teaching and still working in the trade. So you would. How was your schedule?
So I used to work on the buildings because I went to Randolph. See, so a lot of people know I went to Randolph. I graduated Randolph. I went to St. Mary's of Redford until 11th grade. Then I graduated from Cooley High School, and the Randolph bus came to actually St. Mary's of Redford to get me in 11th grade. And then when I transported to Cooley after that, it was right down the street. So when I went to Randolph for those 2 years, a guy hired me straight out of school. Last day of school, this big company came and said, "We want you." Bam. So I worked for that company for 3 years, and in 1991, the teacher that taught me in high school begged me to be his assistant teacher. I mean, begged. And I said, no. I said, man, I'm 19. I can't teach 18-year-old girls. I'm dating 18-year-old girls. I said, I'd be fired in the first week. So he begged me, and it lasted 12 years. He begged me for 12 years. And I used to just work on Detroit Public School buildings, making sure the buildings stay nice and everything, tiling bathrooms and all that stuff. And I took the job.
You're tiling too, not just masonry.
Yeah, we teach
floors?
we teach all that in Randolph. And 2004, he was retiring, and he begged me, and I finally took it. And so since 2004 to now, I have extended the legacy that was given to me from my former teacher, Mr. Gotti. And
shout out to Gotti.
Hopefully I can give it to one of my ex-students, could take it from here, in the next couple of years, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think is the future of trades? How's it looking?
Well, they ain't stopped building.
Right.
So the trades is looking bright because, I hear that, like the whole Woodward's gonna do 70 buildings down Woodward or something like that. The whole just Detroit is revitalizing. Detroit Metro is revitalizing. You got, you could have worked on the Hudson building for 4 years.
Yeah,
That's 4 years. You could have worked on the bridge. I got kids at the bridge. I got kids that worked at the train station. So it's not gonna stop. They gonna do something with the rents in now. They're gonna do something with other stuff. It's always gonna be they always gonna take the old and make it new or rebuild.
Gotcha. That's
just it. I worked on the Palace of Auburn Hills when I was an apprentice bricklayer. And to watch it go down, say, wow, we did all those fancy bricks and things like that on the Palace. And the Palace didn't even last long. Because usually buildings like that go 50 years.
Right.
It didn't even last long. So.
Yeah, they started having problems with it too.
Yes.
Leaking, the roof leaking, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So, because it was built before its time. So, but it didn't have problems like the Silver Dome. Look how long that lasted. So, so they going to keep building and keep building and keep building. And like I tell you, 80% of Detroit houses are made of brick. So we're going to keep building and keep fixing and keep building. So it's the oldest profession, and it's going to be the oldest profession when we all go out of here.
A lot of kids wonder, so what's the steps if you're at a high school student who comes to Randolph, they get their certification, they graduate, what's next? What's the step into employment?
So we got to get them a driver's license. That's first, because no company is going to coddle you to get to the job. Mm-hmm. So we have to work on getting them their driver's license. I don't know if we should bring back driver's training like it was when I was in high school.
They don't do it like that anymore?
No.
What?
So they should. They should bring back driver's training because driver's training is almost like a trade.
Now it is.
So bring back driver's training, and then the kids got a number one opportunity. We got places that's offering cars and trucks and everything, but you got to have a driver's license. Once we get them on the job, it's good. It's getting them to the job. That's where we falling short at. So, yeah. Any donations or anything like that to bring the kids forth for driver's license, help them with driver's license. If you teach a driver's training class, or you do what they call it, when you take the road test, if you're one of those people that do road test instructors, and you want to donate some of your time to some 12th graders that can't really afford to pay to get their driver's license and stuff like that, it'd be much appreciated.
Randolph Career Tech, that's how you reach out. I remember when we turned 16,
everybody's in driver's training.
You couldn't wait. We were 15.4 and was like, as soon as I get 16, you'd already taken your permit.
Now the kids want to Uber to
all
work.
You need, all we needed was 16 came, it was road test.
It was road test.
And we were out.
And that's all you talked about. But it's a different generation now. Like I said, it's a different generation because our generation had two parents in the household and everything that. Yeah. And now, you don't know what you might run into, what obstacles, but we there for them. We there to try to help them get a chance, to be somebody.
Yeah.
And that's my give back. It had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with fame or glory, anything like that.
Well, now you see why you're on all the damn news channels.
Shoot.
Listen to how you listen to that. Everybody want to talk to you now.
I do need a check.
That too. But and last but not least, I know I hear a lot of contractors and employers complain about the kids and their lack of social skills now. So talk to the parents with these kids and what are the requirements? I mean, you're on these job sites and help the parents out with when they're sending these kids out in these social skills. Because nobody think it's their kids, but it is. It is your kid.
Yeah, because my kids too, so turn them phones off. Make them turn them phones off. And things like that. Make them work to be on the phone. Make them, have them paint rooms at the house. Have them fix stuff at the house. Let them do stuff. Make them go outside. Make them go outside.
That's child abuse.
Yeah, and you wouldn't realize how you would change a kid's life by turning off the TV, turning off social media, couple hours a day, and you would get a lot better, more focused kid. I don't want to tell nobody how to raise those kids because mine probably at home right now. So no, he's sitting behind me. He ain't on social media right now.
Yeah, he's right.
He's sitting behind me. But
he's spoiled though. I can tell he's spoiled. He right behind him. He's spoiled. You spoiled? A little bit, huh?
So he ain't never leaving.
You a little spoiled, yeah.
He don't think his parents made it now, so he ain't never leaving.
Oh, but we terrible too because you Gen X. Our Gen X parenting sucks. Because we get them everything.
I know.
The Gen X parents are because we didn't get it.
Yeah, they don't know the whooping. They don't even know the whooping is.
To go get your switch and then get the whooping with the switch you got.
And you think you get the smaller switch and that hurt more. So you think I'm gonna get this little small one. This ain't gonna. That hurt more.
But leaving at 9 and not coming back to 10.
Street lights. Better be home for them street lights. And I never could figure out why the ironing cord came loose from the iron. So I never could figure that out why they had a pluggable iron. But
cheese sandwiches, water in the cereal,
mayonnaise sandwiches.
You don't know nothing. You back here laughing
right.
at us.
He ain't had to go through that. We watched those episodes of Everybody Hates Chris when they go to the grocery store and they buy just cookie. cereal.
Right.
You don't know what flavor it's gonna be.
You don't know what it is.
But we had that stuff back in the day.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
But
with that white bread, boy.
And we learned how to survive, and that's all I want the kids to do. Learn how to survive.
Right, have some coping skills.
But this is good ways to survive. Oh, we do a lot of that too. We do a lot of mock interviews and stuff like that, just to learn how to sit down with companies. And like I tell them, pull your phone out on job, see how long you last.
That's
as soon as you check your messages, you be checking out.
Yeah.
So, they're trying to help. Right. I can't say that outside of Randolph, Detroit, stuff like that they're not trying to help. Mm-hmm. They are trying to help our kids. It's our kids that gotta get it. It's our parents that gotta get it. I get 2 or 3 parents to parent-teacher conference, and I say all the time, if my daughter was in my class laying brick and she can barely load the dishwasher, I'm there all the time and say, I got to see this.
Right.
So I need the parents to come out and see your kids build this stuff. And you would be amazed. I'm watching kids drive skid steers and scissor lifts and stuff right at our school. We the only school in Detroit that got their own heavy equipment in the classroom.
Wow. And then they go home and the parents don't think they can do anything.
I get parents coming and say, he didn't show me none of that. But the boy on social media all day. But you ain't even showed your mama the projects you built or things like that. But they getting better. Right. They getting better. Getting better.
Well, that's good. That's why I wanted to kind of touch on that, because I know that I hear it because I frequent the school as well. So I hear some of the complaints about social skills. They don't pay attention. You can't tell them nothing. They got attitude. They got, you know what I mean? So that's why you're doing it for so long.
They come with the teaching too. They come with the teacher too, though.
Oh yeah.
Teacher ain't supposed to let no heads be down.
Yeah.
Keep them engaged.
Yeah.
They come in our classroom, and me and Mr. Horn, they come in our classroom, and it's an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes of hands-on work every single day. So when they walk in the classroom, they already know and what to expect. So sometimes you got to blame the teacher.
Right.
Sometimes you got to blame them. Yes, you got to keep them engaged. You got to keep them going, and you will be amazed how good of work they can do.
Wow.
Amazed. When you walk in Randolph, it should sound like a construction site. That's what it should sound like.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it definitely does. Well, hey guys, if you guys have been listening, this show has been dedicated to Mr. Matthew Bracey, a 25-year instructor at a trade school here in the city of Detroit. It's been a pleasure. I'm gonna let you close it out. You tell I think there's 318,000 listeners just on this show. You tell them whatever you want to tell them, and we're gonna go to the commercial after that. This is Matt.
What I want to tell y'all is John Johnson, this is the man.
Uh-oh.
Now, this is only my second time meeting him, but we friends now. You need toilet paper, this the man right here. And I learned a lot today, and I'm glad to see brothers like this out here doing this, because he care. He give back. I mean, his only slight is Cast Tech, but he care. And that's what we need.
We got to edit that out on the behind the scenes.
But when you find guys that care, you got to be a voice against all this and stuff, because like I said, I know he know young cats in the street that he know can do a lot better than they're doing and things like that. So when you in high school, kids out there, take full advantage of what these schools are giving you. Take full advantage. Parents, take full advantage. You don't have to have no background in construction or anything like that. We're going to teach them everything they need to know. We will get them test scores up. We will get them we will get them grades up, and them what they call it, they grade point average.
Grade point average. Yeah.
Get them grade point averages up. You go to Randolph, you get 3 A's. But you also can get 3 F's. So 3 A's will really push your GPA up. So I want everybody, girls, boys, whatever, come to Randolph, come to Brightoff, come to Go Lightly, Davis Aerospace, whatever. Take a trade. It ain't nothing wrong with taking a trade, no matter what you want to be. Cast Tech, Renaissance, take a trade. We right there. We waiting for kids, and ain't nothing wrong with hands-on working to learn, because you're sitting in the buildings that hands-on people are building. So ain't nothing wrong with being a doctor, being a lawyer, being, anything like that. But guess what? Bricklaying is honest. Electricity is honest. Plumber is honest. DTE is honest. Ram Construction is honest. Bricklayers, you know, it's all honest work. You just got to be willing to work hard and rebuild our city. And that's all I really pretty much got to say. Hope this message get to you. Hope it reach you. God bless you all, you know, around Detroit and metro area. And go Lions.
That is. You're listening to the Bounce Back Station. It's the Variety Music Show. We appreciate you listening.
Pistons
we'll be right back. We'll be right back.